Om Shri Sairam. I offer my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our master, Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai. We begin today's session with a prayer. Sahana Vavatu. Sahana Vavatu. Sahanau Bhunaktu. Saha Viryankaravavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Distinguished guests, students from Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, Sri Madhusudana Sai Institute for Medical Sciences and Research, and viewers from around the world, welcome to Words of Wisdom, a platform dedicated to illuminating the extraordinary journeys and insights of exceptional individuals. And today, we have the privilege of welcoming a person whose life and achievements exemplify dedication, wisdom, and service to our nation. Major General Pran Koul is a name that resonates with honor and achievements. As distinguished former Additional Surveyor General, he embarked on his remarkable journey at the prestigious Indian Military Academy, Dehradun, and was commissioned into the Indian Army on 15th December 1976. But his journey didn't stop there. Major General Koul is not only a warrior, but also a wordsmith. He authored his first book, The Silence Speaks, which made its debut in India in February 2014. His second book, Resonating Ripples, hit the shelf in June 2021, and he was recently added another gem to his literary crown with the Turning Pages. Major General Koul's literary achievements have been widely recognized, with his books featuring in the Times of India, the Daily Excelsior, and the English Fortnightly The Week. But his accomplishments extend beyond the world of literature. Originally a mechanical engineer, Major General Koul pursued further studies in survey engineering and advanced courses in photogrammetric engineering. He obtained his education from esteemed institutions like the Indian Institute of Surveying and Mapping, Hyderabad, and Intergraph Computer Corporation, USA. Major General Koul's service to our nation is the story of unwavering commitment and courage. He planned and executed surveys in insurgency-inflicted areas of Nagaland and high hills of Arunachal Pradesh, enduring extreme climatic conditions and insurgency-ridden terrains. It was part of the pioneering team of Indian Army officers who introduced digital mapping to India in 1989. Major General Pran Koul held key leadership positions, including Commandant of Digit and Director of GOIS, International Boundary Directorate. He showcased his diplomatic skills during 2 visits to Pakistan as a part of Indian delegation under the Indo-Pak Sir Creek boundary matter. Major General Koul's service transcended borders as he was debuted on official assignments to various countries, including the United States, Russia, China, Pakistan, and Bhutan. He even led the survey team during the Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica in 1981 and 1992, where he created the first Indian map of Maitri and environs, receiving recognition both in India and abroad. Major General Pran Koul life story is a testament to the power of dedication, service, and continuous learning. Today, we are honored to have him with us to share to his words of wisdom. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Major General Pran Koul. Over to you, sir.
Well, Mr. Bhupel Chidamba and the students of Sri Sathya Sai University of Human Excellence, Jai Hind, Namaskar, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, and good afternoon to all of you. It's a matter of pride for me to be addressing the students of renowned university, the university whose objective is to train the young minds and create into them the exponents and make them into exponents of para. Para means spiritual, and apara, the materialistic knowledge, so that they in turn can separate, scatter, and propagate the knowledge, rather the message of our Mother Bharat to all nook and corner of the world and contribute in a peaceful existence. My deep regards to the leader of the mission, Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai Ji, who has made this university as a vivid example of secularism. This may be the only university in the world, and I'm sure it is the only university in the world which gives free education to the students hailing from various religions, castes, and creeds. This is no discrimination at all. And there is education is imparted at undergraduate levels, graduate levels, doctoral levels, and maybe beyond. Right, in all fields like medicine, engineering, administration, and humanities. This is a vivid example, and very rightly, it is visited generally by very important, internationally known visitors, including our Prime Minister, the Home Minister, and recently they've been graced by a visit by our current Honorable President of India. Well, thanks to Mr. K.G. Mohan, who has been instrumental in arranging this lecture. K.G. Mohan has held senior appointments in corporate world. But the beauty about his personality is that he has also inculcated, rather cultivated, the characteristics of both para, the spiritual, and apara, the materialistic knowledge within him. And that makes him a very enviable personality. Thank you, K.G. Mohan Saab, if you are listening. Thank you very much. Now, coming to the crux of the talk, I've been told to go down my memory lane. But I tell you frankly, in my life, I am not learned to go down. So I will, even if nature has been forcing me to go down, but I fight and try to go up. That has been my principle. And today also in this lecture, I will not go down my memory lane, but I will go up the memory lane. And as I find an optimum datum wherefrom I can take off, is I am fond of telling that I am from the dense streets of Sopot, Kashmir district, Baramulla. You all might have heard about it because it is known for all the wrongs for the last 3 decades. And it was never like that. I am from that town, and I reiterate, I am from those dense streets. It's a Muslim majority town. We Hindus were in microscopic minority, but the bonhomie and the brotherhood that we enjoyed was fantastic. People may not believe it now. I enjoyed my stay with the Hindu families as I enjoyed my stay with the Muslim families. I enjoyed at home, I enjoyed in school, right? And then these were there were examples of Bohemian brotherhood, where nobody will believe it now. Actually. So I start my schooling. I'm telling you all this because I've been told sheer experiences, and some experiences are there. I started my schooling in middle school, Babayus. Middle school, Babayus is a government school, and I may like to tell you that I'm a product of government schools, and I'm also from the teacher's family. My grandfather was a well-known teacher in Sopor, Kashmir, was headmaster of this middle school. They say he had he was known as a good educationist. Later on, my father also was a teacher in the same school. He also ultimately took over as the headmaster of that school. Well, I was in fourth standard. I would like to add that my father was known not only in the town, but in the whole district as a teacher who had knack of teaching maths and English. So I was in fourth standard, and he was also the teacher in the same school. And he had not put me in his section, obviously, because of some reasons best known to him. So I was in another section where we were taught maths by one Mr. Muhammad Ramzan. Mr. Muhammad Ramzan was also a very good teacher. Incidentally, he was the President of India awardee for the best school teacher in J&K state. He was teaching us maths. He was very good at it. I will share one experience. Once he was solving the problem on the blackboard, a very long question, and in the middle of the question, he got stuck up. He tried for about 5-10 minutes. He couldn't come out of it, and we students were watching him. Then he told one of the students, go and call Nandalji. Nandalji was my father's name. He was teaching in the adjacent room. In a few moments, he came. Then he told him, Nandalji, I got stuck up in this question. Try to help me. They discussed for a minute or two, and they solved the question. They exchanged smiles, and my father left. I'm sure he would have left that classroom that time with enhanced respect for Mr. Mohammed Ramzan. That is to ask when you don't know a thing. This school had everything which a very good school should have. It was known for its academics. It has everything good except the school building, which everybody thought would fall anytime. From there, I took off to the another school, higher secondary school in my class 9. It was a great change. It was a school with constructed out of bluestone, single-storied buildings, red rooftops, vast flower beds, big lawns, and with huge games fields where people played cricket, football, hockey, and all. So it was a great change. There are a lot of experiences that I cultivated in this school, but because of the paucity of time, I'll share one experience with you. This school had such good teachers, highly qualified teachers. One of them was Mr. T.N. Tiko. He was a great educationist. He was known throughout the state. He was a great administrator and a professional teacher. I'll tell you, he was so much respected in this Muslim majority town that when he would walk through the market of Sopo, central market of Sopo, the shopkeepers would rise one by one. One shopkeeper would rise, sit down by time he crossed, and another would get up. And this would happen on both sides of the road. In a way, a sine wave would come into play till the time he crossed the market. And telling you very frankly, in my lifetime so far, I never seen a person who commanded such a respect. I thought this was worth sharing, actually. And then I went to degree college. Degree college, I had no intention of doing a degree because I wanted to go for engineering. But it was a waiting period to get admission in the engineering college. And this degree college also, I cultivated a lot of experiences. I will share one. The principal of this college was Mr. Abdul Salam Dar. It was a treat to see him. How best would be to see his turnout. He would be very properly dressed. He would enter the gates of the college, and you could set your watch. He would sit in the classes to check how the professors taught. And he was very particular about keeping the college spick and span. I remember one day, I saw from a distance, he was probably inspecting the cleanness of that particular washroom. And I saw him taking that, you call that mower. No, not mower, mopper, from the hands of the Safai wala, and he held it in his own hands. Then he was showing that Safai wala how to do the cleanness properly. Then the Safai wala took and he started cleaning the way he wanted. I mean, that was remarkable for a principal of a degree college who was known throughout J&K state. And it left an impression on my mind, a lifelong impression. And I tell you very frankly, it is this thing that has made me to ensure cleanness, not only around me, but also in my offices, whether I was in army or on deputation. I thought this was also another experience that I would share. Then I got in the meantime admission in regional engineering college, which are known as NITs these days, regional engineering college Srinagar. And that those days the engineering course would be for 5 years. It was a 10 semester course. I got admission in mechanical engineering. This engineering college had fantastic teachers. Our head of department, Dr. Izar Hussain, was third mathematician in the country that time. We had Dr. Labru, Dr. Raina, Professor Afag, who was teaching us English. We had Dr. Waklu in civil engineering. We had Professor Jeerath, who was head of department, uh, one of the department, head of department material science, and he was on the visiting faculty to foreign universities. And our head of department of mechanical engineering was Dr. T.V. Balasubramanian. He was one of the famous machine design experts, and he would also go. He was also on the visiting faculty of foreign university. Such were the great teachers, and I will just share one experience with you. When we finished engineering and submitted our project, our head of department, Dr. Balasubramanian, told us, you all can go home, and when the Viva is there, because an external examiner has to come, we'll fix the date in home. After some time, so I went to my hometown, Sopot. After some time, I got an intimation about the Viva date. In the meantime, I got an intimation from Adjutant General of the Indian Army because I had applied for entry into the Indian Military Academy, and these dates overlapped. So I was shaken. I immediately went from Sopot to Srinagar in bus and dashed to the engineering college and to the head of department's room. And to my good luck, he was sitting on the chair. I entered. He said, what brought you here? Your project Viva was. After a couple of days, I told him, sir, I'm caught in a catch 22 situation. He said, what is the problem? I told him, I have received the dates for Viva I have received dates for service selection board, which generally spreads for about 4 to 5 days, and they are overlapping. I don't know what to do. And I told him, frankly, I'm not sure whether I will clear that board because it was a very tough exam, but I just wanted to take a chance. I remember his words. I was in his good books because I had been a merit scholarship holder for about 4 years out of 5 years, except the first year. And he told me, Pran, I will not like to come in between you and your good career. He picked up the phone, gave a ring to the head of part in mechanical engineering, Thapar Engineering College, and told him, Sir, I have a problem. We have fixed the Viva Voce test on a particular date, but one of my students has to face service selection board interviews during the same dates. May I request you if we can change those dates? He told me there's no problem. We can discuss afterwards and put a suitable date. And then he told me, don't waste your time in my chamber. Go home, prepare for that. I will adjust it and will intimate you later. And I tell you very frankly, it was such a positive attitude. He could have easily told me, no, the dates are fixed, I can't help you. And had he said that, my career would have taken a different turn. I don't know what career I would have chosen, but I would have definitely not joined the army, which was my full aim. I thought I should share this experience with you. When you grow up, I mean, you need to keep all these things in mind. And thereafter, I got selected in the SSB. Fortunately, I cracked that exam, and I got admission in Indian Military Academy. Well, Indian Military Academy is such a training. There is an experience every day. I can't share so many experiences with you, but I can tell you that train the cadets to take decisions in tension. They put you to a lot of tension, both physical and mental. Just an example, this there's an exercise, a commando exercise where you're left in jungles with map, weapon, and compass, and you're supposed to reach. You are left at night, and you are supposed to reach 4 or 5 mountain tops, sign your attendance there, and go back to Indian Military Academy, right? Through these jungles, mountains, crossing the rivers within 24 hours. And if you don't go, the person is relegated. And what is important is that you have a batch of 10 students, all the 10 should go. If somebody is left behind, the whole batch is relegated. So this was tension, I remember. When we complete this exercise, when I reached Indian Military Academy in time, I threw myself on the ground. We all had blisters on our feet. And in the meantime, we came to know that there's a notice board. There's a notice on the notice board that our final assessment tests, they call them FATs, or the final exams of the final term or next day. And I don't know how much more tension a student can be put, right? So that is the type of training it is. And I would also like to share with you that when we pass out, you all might have seen probably many of you might have seen, if not all, the parade of IMA when the cadets pass out. And when we had the parade, our parade was reviewed by the President of India, late Sri Honorable President Fakhruddin Ali Ahmed. And when we had a parade, then after his review, the parade takes a turn towards the building. You keep on marching towards the building called Chetwood Hall. And in Chetwood Hall, you go in a slow march. I don't know, you might have heard that tune. Da 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 da. It is on the slow march. And you enter the Chatwood Hall. The point to be noted here is you enter the Chatwood Hall as a cadet and you go in a slow march. And when you leave the Chatwood Hall, you leave it as officers. But one thing very important to note, that when we reach the exit gate of the Chatwood Hall, there's a big inscription on the wall, which no cadet can miss. It is placed in such a way. I will like to read out that. You all are for that? Shall I read it out? Okay, let me read it out. The safety, honor, and welfare of your country comes first, always and every time. Safety, welfare, and comfort of men you command comes next. Your own ease, comfort, and safety comes last, always and every time. What a slogan. This message gets imprinted both in the heart and mind of the cadets who are about to become officers after about 2 minutes, right? And it remains with them lifelong. I believe that's the main reason that the Indian officers are always seen working shoulder to shoulder with their Jawans, with their soldiers, and most of the time leading them. You must have recently heard we lost one commanding officer, a colonel, in Kashmir, and he led the battle from the front. Similarly, we saw on Indochina border, there was a clash between Indian soldiers and Chinese soldiers, and that Colonel Babu, probably I hope I'm correctly remembering his name, he led from front and sacrificed his life with many other soldiers. So this tradition you will find in Indian Army. The officers are not shy of leading their men. That's why the men give them a lot of regard and respect. And that's the thing I would like to add at this stage, that Indian Army is the only army in the world which allows a soldier to practice his religion. I reiterate, it is the only army in the world. They can freely, and each unit, every unit has a religious place, depending on the strength of the Javans of a particular religion. If the percentage entitles them to a religious place, they have a religious place. Based on that, you have temples, you have mosques, you have churches, you have gurdwaras. And Indian Army officer practice the officer of an Indian soldier. I tell you, I practice the officer of the religion of an Indian soldier. We practice the religion within the four walls of our home, and we go and join the Javans, and outside we practice the religion of Indian soldier, where we join, whether they are Muslim soldiers, Sikh soldiers, Hindu soldiers, Christian soldiers, we join them at their festivals with our families, whether it is Eid, whether it is Shivratri, Diwali, or it is Guru Sab's function. So this practice we follow, it is something great. So accordingly, we have Molvis in the units, depending on the percentage of Muslim soldiers. We have Granthis, we have Panditjis, and we have the fathers, right? So this is, I think, I wanted to share with you something great. Now, after passing out of the Indian Military Academy, well, I'm going chronologically, going up the memory lane, because else I may miss something. I got posted to an engineer regiment, 104 engineer regiment. That was in Rajasthan that time. And I got posted to the regiment, but I got in turn posted to 37 Field Company. This 37 Field Company was known as the Paramveer Check Company. It was a PVC company because it was the only PVC company in the engineer regiment. It had a lot of Veer Chakras, other things, Sena medals, and many more decorated officers. But this PVC was awarded to one Major Rane. He was a lieutenant that time during Indo-Pak War of 47. And mind you, he was the only living PVC for a very long time. And you may not know, but we would see as a students that he would be taken in a separate vehicle during Republic Day parade. And announcers would sing about his bravery in the battle. So this was called PVC company. The tradition was any officer, there were many other companies in the regiment, but any officer who was posted to any other company, he would be made to spend some days in this PVC company. See the culture of the boys there, because the boys were much different than other companies. They had a lot of pride in them because of being called as because of being from the PVC company. And I was fortunate enough that I got posted to this company. And to add that, there was paucity of officers. And when I had interview with the commanding officer, he told me, you have been posted to PVC company, and I have another news to tell you that we have paucity of officers. So I'm assigning the responsibility of a company commander to you. This you would generally get after 7-8 years of your service. It's a PVC company. There's a different culture in this. Handle the soldiers with lot of care. And then I interview ended, and I went. I was told to meet the adjutant. I met the adjutant. He also briefed me because he had told him to brief him in detail. And he told me that CEO has told you to note down the name of a sapper, soldier, who should not be sent on an outpost because most of the time he has deserted and overstayed. And he has brought a bad name to the regiment and made the position of our commanding officer awkward. So I noted down the name. I went to the company, entered the chamber. It was a fantastic, the honor board was really echoing a lot of bravery. So when I sat, I think it was Thursday, no, it was Friday. Then I was told by my company JCO, today is the RZ report day. RZ report day means the soldiers have requests which is recorded on the register against their names, and they come where they ask for leave, other things, or they have some problems, they want help of the company commander. And it is a official parade, and they are paraded one by one to the company commander. And the company, it was my first day experience. My company commander, my company JCO told me, sir, shall I start it? He started one by one. Then he warned me, sir, now there is one soldier coming, and your instructions about him from this commanding officer that he should not be sent on outpass. He's asked for outpass for a couple of days. So I said, I have noted down his name, I will not send him. And when he marched in, he told me, sir, I have problems. I told him, I cannot send you because I have commanding officers instructions that you don't have to be sent. He told me, sir, I am in terrific pain. Nobody is allowing me to go home. My wife and children are alone at home. They have nobody to help them. So when I go there, I have a lot of problems to sort out. So I overstay and I have become a bad man in the regiment. So I told him, see, I can't help you. But then he told him, what is your problem? Tell me in detail. He told me the details. Then I told him, if I suppose send you on outpass, will you come back? He said, yes, sir. I told him very easy to say, yes, sir. You should know this is my first day of the profession, the first day in the regiment. And if I let you go, I'll be disobeying my company commanding officer. Then he said, sir, if you allow me to go, I will come back in time. I took a risk. I don't know whether I should have. And told my company JCO that make an outpost for him and I will sign it. He said, sir, what are you doing? Company will be in disaster. You have been instructed by company, instructed by the commanding officer. We have also been instructed by through our own channels that he is not to be sent. I told him it's my decision. I am the company commander. You send him. And when he sent, it was Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Monday morning I came. The JCO saluted and gave me the morning report. I told him, Saab, is everything okay? He said, everything is okay, sir, but one person has not turned up. I told him, who is that person? He said, sir, he is the same person whom you have allowed to go. And his body language was very victorious. He wanted to probably, my body language shrank. I was taken aback. And he didn't add anything. I told him, you give me a report after the 15 minutes. If he doesn't come by 10 o'clock, I'll personally go and report it to the adjutant so that it is passed on to the commanding officer. And I thought my career was doomed. Because first day disobedience to the commanding officer's instruction was not a good thing. Came at 10 o'clock, reported sir has not come, so I put on my cap. With broken legs, I went to the adjutant, saluted him. He said, youngster, how's the first day in the company? I told him, sir, everything is fine, but one soldier has not turned up after the leave. He said, what is his name? I told him, he is the same about whom you had told me not to go. He rebuked me in that military language. He told me, what sort of a creature are you? I have passed you the instructions from the commanding officer. I made you to note his name in your diary. And then you are disobeying. I told him, sir, it has happened. I'm very sorry for that. I saluted and came back. I really came back dejected and sat in my chamber and I thought my career is gone. I asked for a cup of coffee and when I sat after 10 minutes, my JCO came running. He said, sir, I'm surprised that that soldier has come. I was also surprised. I told him, send him here. I told him, what has happened to you? I am 2 hours late. He said, sir, I tell you frankly, I would have not come. I have never come like this, but I have come today because of you, because you've taken so much of risk. But I missed one bus when I was coming. Another bus came after 2 hours. That's how I am late. So I told him, you go. I put on the cap again, looked up in the life-size mirror which was outside my chamber, and we confidently walked into the adjutant's room, saluted him, and he told me, youngster, you have done any other flap? I told him, sir, there's no flap. I have come to report to you that the sapper who was missing has already come. He was shocked. He was really shocked. Then he smiled. Probably he might have thought that the youngster probably has taken a correct decision, but I don't know whether it was a correct decision. Had he not turned up, I'd been doomed. But I gave an example that at times in our search, we may have to take out of box decisions. And if you are lucky, luck favors us. If you are not lucky, well, that is a risk. Now, that's the only experience I will share with you. Otherwise, there are a lot of experiences in the regiment. In that regiment, I started handling the live mines, anti-tank mines, anti-personnel mines, fragmentation mines. explosives. That was a great training ground. After that, I was sent for 2 years. Army sent me for 2 years post-graduation course in Indian Institute of Surveying and Mapping. There's a post-graduation in survey engineering. And then I got posted to that institute for one more year as an instructor. And thereafter, I got posted to northeastern region. I was posted to a unit whose responsibility was Nagaland, right up to those days Indo-Burma boundary range, like India, Indo-Myanmar boundary range. And the director was of the opinion that a young officer should be made to do independent work in a very tough area, which is full of risk. Then he can know the tricks of the trade. As a result, I was sent to Nagaland on independent worker. I was accompanied only by the porters and some classes who would take they were the government employees who would take the instruments and all. And I went to a place called Moon and Tuensong area. And I went to Tuensong. And from there, I had to go footy for about 2 to 3 days and reach the last Indian post where I was supposed to make my base camp and quite go ahead. I don't know what happened. I decided to call on the deputy commissioner at Tuensong. And luckily, he was in his office. He gave me appointment. He told me, Captain, what has brought you here? I told him I am on so-and-so job. It was a confidential job. He told me they have been endorsed a letter from the Chief Secretary's office about this job. Now you tell me, how can I help you? But I can assure you, I know the area you are going. It's a very treacherous area. You are going much beyond the last Indian post. And that area is fluxed with underground Nagas who come from Burma, do jittery actions or stay there. And that's a very horrible area. Please take, and you are coming at a time when Christmas is around. And these people come, celebrate the Christmas, do the first tax collection from the village heads and go back. And he warned me that I should erase all the ranks, all my ranks from the documents. Nowhere it should be seen that I am either from army or from the Assam Rifles. So I was practically in disguise. I was not in uniform. And then I started living with the undergrounds. And this was a Konyak tribe. Konyak tribes were very wild. Undergrounds should be mostly from that Konyak tribe. I started living with the Gaon Buddhas, village heads of each village. But to my good luck, Mr. Chetri, the deputy commissioner, I forgot to tell you, had given me a chit where he had written something in Nagamese. He told me preserve it. And I put it in the pocket of the wind cheater I was wearing. And then we started my work, made a base camp, and then went much beyond the base camp. And in one of the village where I was sleeping with my porters, we all had sleeping bags. There were 2, 3 people who came with red shawls. And they had one gentleman with them who was wearing civil clothes, a young man. And these, I believe, were self-styled military commanders of Naga undergrounds. And then they sent this young man to me. He appeared to be educated. He said, what has brought you here? I told him, I am on developmental surveys. I couldn't share with him. He told me, show me all your documents. Just excuse me, I will have a sip of water. He didn't believe what I was telling him. He checked but he could not find any link with army or air force because I had cut wherever the rank was written. Then I told him, I have told you I come for duel. He didn't believe. But suddenly I believed. I remembered the chit of that Mr. Chetri, the deputy commissioner. And I was wearing the same wind cheater that time also. So I opened the zip, I took out the chit and showed to him. When I showed it to him, he said, relax, there's no problem. You can sleep it. Right? And then it is that chit which had saved us. Because had he further seen, I was carrying a lot of secret and top secret aerial photographs with me. He didn't check that bundle after he saw this Mr. Chetri chit. So it was remarkable. And that is the thing that here it has saved us. Now, after that, I did a lot of work in Nagaland, substantial work in Nagaland for about 3 years, 2 to 3 years. And finally, director thought that I should take the command of a high hill unit whose responsibility was Arunachal Pradesh, right from the plains right up to the McMahon line. There are a lot of expenses in that. There are a lot of expenses in that, but I can tell you that we had a narrow escape one day when I was inspecting my surveyors at a height of about 13 to 15,000, 13 to 14,000 feet. We were caught in a snowstorm when I was going for inspection with my cook and the helper. But finally, I don't know, luck was it that we were saved. I'll not explain that because that's a long story. In the meantime, I'd like to tell Chidamba to use his whip in case I cross the timeline, but don't whip me too hard, right? Now, after this, morning the high hill unit, I had gone abroad for some course. I had done course in for 1 year in photogrammetric engineering, then PG diploma in computer methods and programming, and I was sent to US for a course called photogrammetric specialist course, and we imported the digital mapping from US to India after Assam, after Australia and Japan. They had also brought the equipment from US in respect of the digital mapping. So during that time, a circular came. They were asking for volunteers for national expedition to Antarctica. I gave my name. I always wanted to go to Antarctica, and it was a great chance. Then after a couple of days, I was told that I was told that I have been selected, and I have been selected as the leader of the survey team. We left for Antarctica in a ship that's one of the most costly ships in the world called the Land. It was a Norwegian ship. And the expedition expense was fantastic. Every day is an expense. I can't share many experiences with you, but I would like to tell you that reaching Antarctica itself is an expedition, because it took us about 1 month. You have to cross ferocious 40s. You have to cross maybe screaming 60s. And the ocean behaves in the most rough way. The mountains of water fall on your ship. It is unbelievable experience. Again. And every time you think the ship is getting drowned. So that experience has been fantastic. And when we reach Antarctica, I'll share only the first day experience. We had a lot of risks in between. I had 2, 3 lives there. I'll not go in detail to that. The first day experience was we had gone through rough sea all along for 1 month, maybe for 15 days. On an average, 15 days were okay, right? When we reached, it was a sunny day. One never felt one is in Antarctica. We were too happy. And then the teacher was excited. There's a tradition you make a call group which flies to the Indian station, which is about 150 kilometers away from the ship. So the leader, in his own excitement, decided about a call group. He selected some names, and a Mi-8 chopper and Cheetah naval chopper were earmarked, which took them to the station. I have this experience to tell you that they took a lot of time, because when the choppers flew, after about 1 hour, the weather packed off, which is a characteristic of Antarctica. It packed off, and the visibility went down to about more or less 0%. And we started getting worried, and choppers didn't come. And finally, one chopper came. That was Mi-8 Air Force chopper. It was flown by squadron leader Chima and Wing Commander Gill. And it came through those clouds in the most adventurous way. And when it landed on the ship, rotors were on. Squadron leader Chima, he just called me. He said, "Where is the naval chopper?" I told him it has not come. He said they have left 1 hour before us. So there was a catastrophe. So they got for all aviation fuel drums, multiple aviation, and put that in the chopper and flew up again to look up for that chopper. Visibility was more or less zero, though it was the daytime. Antarctica 6 months daytime. Finally, they could not spot. But to his good luck, the intelligence, he was a decorated pilot, intelligence of squadron leader Chima. He told me afterwards that there was a break between two clouds and he could spot this cheetah, blue thing like a blue dot on an iceberg. And they took a decision to reach that place. When they reached, it happened to be the same chopper, your fuel had exhausted. When the fuel is exhausted, that means you are not air conditioned. And they had started getting frozen. Maybe after another hour or so, all of them would be dead, because it was leader and the photographer and the two pilots. They luckily spotted, and then they filled in all the aviation fuel, and both of them started coming and reached after about an hour. And there was a celebration in the ship. Otherwise, the very first day, a catastrophic news would have come in the neophyte. And I was lucky to have surveyed the first Indian map in Antarctica. Its survey was filmed in a national award winning film called Antarctica, the Scientist's Paradise. And it was shown with all President of India, with all national award winning films, and also in the cinema halls as a prelude to the main entertainment film. So that was something very great. Well, thereafter, I kept on going ahead and I took over. I was told to take over as Director, International Boundary Directorate, where I dealt with the external boundaries, external and international boundaries. The main thing was to work with MEA and MHA. And it is that tenure that, because of that, I was part of MEA delegation on the border dispute of Sarkic boundary, which is between India and Pakistan. And I went to Pakistan twice. I was also maybe lucky that time to have met President Musharraf and his wife, who called on our hotel and had dinner with we. The delegates were 4 or 5 delegates. And after that, I got again took over as director or commandant of Defense Institute of Geospatial Information Training, nicknamed as Digit. And I also went to Bhutan on some assignment. I went to Russia on some assignment and also to China. So the life was full of experiences. There are a lot of risks in between. I told you only one or two. Nagaland was terrific risk, right? Where, telling you very frankly, I was around 2 months on that independent work. When I would leave in the morning at about 5:30, I would not be knowing that I would be coming back in there. That was the risk involved. But God willing, everything went off nicely. Well, at that stage, I think I crossed 1 hour and I cut short certain things, right? And maybe I conclude at this stage. If there are
Thank-
some questions,
Yes.
I would only add one thing, if you allow me.
Okay.
Shall I?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. You can.
I talked to you about this Indian soldier, right? Generally, people have the idea that soldiers have hearts of stone, right? That's a fact. But within that stony heart lies a soft element of a human mind, right? So I have written 3 books. In my second book, that's a true story of an army officer who went for a search party, who led a search party to a distant village in Kashmir, and in that is are connected number of poems, because I found of English poetry, the poems which were composed by me. So I would like to read a poem, if you allow me, right? That is, which I have put on page 45 of that book. That is, tell her I tried to do my best. The poem depicts an important aspect of religion of a soldier. In a fierce battlefield, under the rain of bullets and shells, he wears the heart of a stone within which reside the lava of emotions. So I will read out this poem. Do you permit me to do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It starts like this. Amidst the turmoil that prevailed all around, the bouts of clouds spread all across the sky. The battle tanks rolled, heavy guns marched, the military mobility echoed with slogans, do or die. While the commanders took stock of their command, the kith and kin lined up to bid farewell to their dear ones. Some etched kiss on their cheeks. Some cried, some showered flowers over their hubbies, some over their sons. While boarding my caravan, I looked around at my men. A pretty lady streamed ahead. She waved at her man at a closer range. A shiver went through my veins. My lost love surfaced. The ways of nature are so strange. She withdrew her eyes. In the midst of sobs, she waved at her man. She spoke close to my ear, which no one else could hear. Now that you are in command, take care of my man. Tears rolled down her silky cheeks. Her eyes were full of fear. In the battlefield, under the roaming cannon fire, I noticed an enemy sniper about to pull his trigger while he aimed at his chest. Her last words echoed in my mind, for her hubby was under fire. I jumped, pushed him off the side, and took the bullet on my chest. Shocked as he was, while wiping off the blood from my chest, he asked again and again, Sir, why did you take it on your chest? Unable to speak, knowing that my end was near, I could hardly whisper. In quotes, tell her I tried to do my best. Well, that is the end of this poem. And now I'm at your disposal, yours faithfully. Hello.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful session. Truly, your life has been a living lesson of determination and testimony for selfless service to our motherland. Sir, with your permission, we would like to ask a few questions.
Yeah, please.
Sir, can you explain the border dispute in Aksai Chin region?
I tell you very frankly, I have been commanding a high hill unit. I told you I was young those days. I was a major. And it was Arunachal Pradesh, right? Tell you that there are a lot of, it's a, the boundary is not demarcated. So there are a lot of blurred areas, which sometimes Chinese had a doubt, sometimes we had a doubt. I remember I would send my boys when I was at Shillong, we would send them in the form of expeditions, right, with other people and tell them to go to such areas and leave some biscuit packets, some paper cuttings, and all. And when they would go there, they would already find cigarette cases, biscuit packet wrappers, and all of Chinese. So there was a blur. So they also came, they left it. It was showing a claim, right? And that thing is really continuing. It was not only at that point, it was at various other places, right? And since it's not demarcated, a country which wants to take advantage, I can assure you, India never takes that advantage. A country which wants to take advantage, wants to exploit the situation and claim the area to be his. So that dispute is because the demarcation between India and China is not there. And probably China is not encouraging to do the demarcation because they want to exploit their expansionism. Have I replied your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for that beautiful session. We take this opportunity to extend an invitation to visit our university campus located in Kalburgi in northern Karnataka.
Right.
Also requesting you to visit our main center, Muddenalli, the birthplace of Sir M. Vishweswaraya. It is just an hour drive from Bangalore. Thank you, sir. We conclude today's session with Shanti Mantra.
Okay.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.